Welcome to the next video. Here we go. Today we are going to kind of circle back to Auth because we spent a lot of time on authorization and authentication early on. It's a big topic, and we kind of just did sort of like the bare minimum to make sure that we had a user and we could log in and all that kind of stuff. But right now, if we go to the app, if the token's expired right now, I'm actually logged out. And I have to go and, log in. We don't have any like indicator right now about, hey, I'm, logged in versus logged out, which we're going to handle next. We also don't really have a way to register, although we've created the endpoints and stuff for it, and we can do it in a hard-coded way. We don't have a form yet. We also have this issue when you redirect after login. We're just kind of brought to this page. It doesn't exist anymore. All right, so I'm just going to get us going here. So I think the first thing we should do is, well, I think we need a way to log out before we can log in. So I'm thinking for that, so we have our profile page. I think this is a good one of the many places, of course, we can put something for that. So let's go to our profile root screen, and let's just add an action. And we could do this in a few ways. Let's just have an icon button actually, and we'll have the icon of icons.settings, which gives us that lovely gear. So now we'll have this little guy up here, and then let's actually make a screen for our settings. So inside features, I guess this could be, well, so user is kind of like the model that represents, really like public users for the most part. I guess it's our own user too, so maybe it could fit in here. Yeah, let's put it in here. New file, we'll call it settings screen. So let's just create a stateless. What should we start with? Let's just start with a stateless widget. We'll upgrade it if we need to. Settings screen. And we will, of course, want to return a scaffold because it is a screen. And let's just give it an app bar, give it a title, text of settings. Very good. Okay, now we just need to manage our routes for this. So we'll open up our profile, our user routes. And let's add a new one here. This one will be, we'll have the namespace still. And then we'll actually have the word settings, profile/settings. And we actually don't need to interpret it this way because it's just a single variable name. And for here, we'll use our settings screen. And now back in our profile root screen, we need to make our onPressed actually do something. So let's just add some trailing commas, make it prettier. And we want to use our context.push, and we'll push to our settings screen. That's not what we want to actually do though. We want to push to a route, so we use our settings screen .route, which actually I realize we don't even have. So let's just remember how we do this. Let's open up something else like the detail screen. So we just need to have a static string called route. We will make it a function, even though in this case we won't actually need to pass anything in. And we will use our user routes.namespace, put a slash, and we'll just have settings. Meaning over here, instead of typing it in this way, we can actually take our settings screen and just go .route. So we keep everything, just anything that's like a hard-coded string is in one place, which is just good practice. Okay, then over here, we need to actually push to our settings screen.route, just like that. Okay, let's see if that works. Page not found. Now this could just be because we need to do a rebuild, possibly. Where do we have this? We have this on profile, settings. There we go. So for now, although we'll eventually have many other settings, and we'll probably have like a form and all that stuff, but we're just going to put a body, and let's actually just have a center with a child of our lovely elevated button, and on pressed, we will handle our logout, and we want to have obviously a child of text log out. So we'll just get this lovely button here. Again, temporary, but enough for us to make this work. Okay, so to log out, how do we want to manage this? Auth, I'm just going to see if we have something already for this. I think we might. Here's our auth provider, log in with email. Yeah, we already have a logout. So This we can just make async, and we will await, and we want to use, and this is where we will actually need to convert this because we need access to our ref. So we could wrap this in, in a consumer, and that would be fine, but we're just going to convert this actually to a consumer widget and just import the things we need. That way we can do ref.read, and we need to have our auth provider .notifier, and we'll call logout. So that will actually log us out. Now, the problem is we need to also kind of like redirect back to the home screen because really you won't be allowed to be on a profile screen at this point. So in order to do that, we will figure it out. Okay, so let's go to our dashboard. We call it dashboard or root. What do we call our like main container? Probably app container. Okay, so let's see. We have our app container. We essentially need to get to that branch. Bottom navigation bar. Can we just, let's just actually open up some stuff here. Okay, so the best way to do this is we need to essentially talk this navigation shell. So we can do stateful navigation shell.of context, and this will look for the next stateful navigation shell up the widget tree. And we can basically run the same function we're doing here, .go branch. And in this case, we will want to set it just to 0. That's fine. And secondly, initial location is a Boolean. Let's do that as true too, just to get you back to the start so that they're not deep in something. Now we're getting this little warning here, and that's because we're using context after an await. So we do want to wrap this in if context.mounted, then do this. Because if for some reason we're not mounted anymore, there's no point to navigate, and this will just prevent it from crashing essentially. Okay, I don't think I made any changes here, but let's test this out. But let's do one other thing too. Just for now, we're going to do, just so we can test if we are logged in or logged out, we need a way to essentially watch that. So I think we have that in our, would it be in our auth provider? Yeah. So let's actually just wrap this whole thing in a builder. Not necessary, but just makes it a little bit cleaner in terms of our logic. So we can go if ref.watch, and we'll use our auth provider. I think we can do is, and if we want to check is auth state guest, which we also need to import. Then in this case, we just maybe for now return a text. I mean, we can actually still return the elevated button that says login or something. This is just temporary, just to test to make sure this works. Okay, we don't need these here. In the is. Okay, so let me just make this a little bigger, and then we'll clean up a bit. Okay, so basically, if we are a guest, we're going to have a login here. Otherwise, we're going to have a logout button. So we are seeing the logout button. That's a good sign. Let's click logout. We're brought back here, which is nice. Go back to profile, and now we see it says login, which this doesn't do anything, but we can, of course, push to our login screen and whatever. But let's, what is our context.go, and we want to just use our login screen.route, something like that. Let's just see if that works. We got that. Oh, I guess we don't want to use .go. I'm confused about that actually. Sometimes. So, okay, let's rebuild. So here, my profile, settings, login, Tyler3@savory.com. And yeah, our success still needs to be fixed. Okay, so at least we're in a state where we can actually log in and out, which allows us to make this stuff work. So yeah, let's rebuild. Let us figure out how we want this to work. So the idea is like this app will be essentially like public. You don't need an account to read and essentially like see what's going on. But as soon as you want to actually post something or interact, we're going to have, something that's going to block you from doing that. So maybe getting that out of the way first is actually a good idea. So in Auth, we are, well, let's see, we're going to go to our venue screen, venue root screen. This is where we have our floating action button. We're going to get rid of some of these things here. And okay, so this push, oh, that's just for that. That's just temporary anyways. In fact, let's just comment this out. Okay, so this is a place where we'd want to prevent people from logging in. So I think what we could do is I want to create what's kind of like a guard, or what I would like to call a guard. And it's auth related. It's could be a provider. Let's actually just write the logic here, and then we'll figure out how we want to, move it into its own reusable thing. So let's just do something like ref.read, and we use our auth provider dot, and we want to check if this is, I guess probably the best thing to do actually is, we'd use auth state success. We want to check if it is not. Is that how you do it? I guess we just do if. How do you? What's the opposite of is? Is that how you would do it? I've actually never done that. Let's see if that works. Test. Else. Print. Test 2. And we'll just get rid of the action here. Okay. If clicking this should say that, okay, test 2. So, and we are logged in, I think. Okay, so I guess that's working. Okay, cool. I guess you just do is with an exclamation mark. If it is not auth state success. Okay. So basically what we want to do is have a, this is kind of more a utility thing than like a provider itself. However, getting ref into utility, we'd have to pass it in, which isn't the best. Either way, we have to pass context in. Okay, let's keep figuring this out. Utils. I'm just going to make something. We're going to just figure this out. Authguards.dart. Or let's just call authguard. Okay, so we're going to have something called authguard. Authguard. And it's going to return a future of bool. We'll make it async. And this is essentially where we want this kind of logic. Now, we probably want to make this a provider so that we just have access to ref on its own. The only thing is, like, actually, like, we need something that is going to also allow context, because we want to essentially show like a bottom sheet or something like that that says login required. Okay, we're just going to do this in kind of the nasty way now, and then we'll come back to making it better. So we're just going to require these things to be passed in. It's not that nasty. And here's where we have this logic. So we have our auth provider. We need to do this. If it's not this, we're going to do something. Otherwise, we'll just return true right away. Okay. So let's just get rid of this. And we're going to go await, which means we need to make this async. And we want to use our auth guard and pass that in. And essentially, we want to be checking if not this, we want to just return out. And the reason, although this doesn't have to be asynchronous yet, this stuff we can all get synchronously. Basically, we actually want to show like a dialogue that is going to have like a login form in it and let you do your things, and then potentially return true at the end or return false. That way, when people get blocked by the auth guard, if they make an account or log in, simply they can just continue their flow. All right. So in this case, we essentially need to show some kind of bottom sheet or something like that. So let's make a component for that. Let's just call it auth guard. Auth guard modal, I think, works. So we'll make this a stateless stateless consumer. Auth guard modal. I wish this would import the files we needed. Okay, we got our things we need. And really what we want to return here is a, I guess a container to start, in case you want to do some cool decoration on it, which we probably do. It's going to have a child. I'm just going to put text for a second so we can easily wrap it with padding, some nice padding. And this will be actually a column, main axis size dot min. And we can have something like login required or account required. And for this, we can use style theme.ofContext.text theme. Let's use like headline medium or something. Okay. Now, basically here, what we want to do is we're going to await something here. We're going to await a show modal bottom sheet. Context, which that's why we needed context. And for builder, we are essentially going to return our auth guard modal. Okay, so this auth guard modal will save everything, and let's just test this out. Click this. Well, we have to actually log out first to really test it, but let's go here. So we got this account required. Let us make that a bit bigger. We'll just make its width double.infinity. Okay, cool. That's already actually kind of looks kind of nice. Wicked. So now underneath this, we can have a an elevated button that says something like sign up now. Or just maybe even just sign up. All right, so we have this sign up. Let's also just add a bit of space here. I'm not trying to make this like completely gorgeous yet, but I want it to look okay. So we have our sign up button, yay. And then we're going to have a another button, but we'll just use a text button for this one, just to make it less in your face. Log in. And we can even have like text that says or. So now we have this. Let's also add something like this. Sign up or log in. Let's also make this padding a little bit more. Okay, we're gonna do this a little bit differently. So we'll still have that. I'm gonna actually wrap this in a row. Make its main axis size dot min. Copy this, paste it here. Yeah, I think this will look better. Again, not trying to make it beautiful, but trying to make it pretty. And then obviously this would say login. Okay. So that's getting there. And then I guess at the very bottom of this, we should probably have something that's like text or continue as guest. Guest. Okay. And actually, sorry, this should be a text. This should be a button, of course. Text button. Put that in there. And what we want to do here is if they click continue as guest, we're going to do a navigator.ofContext.pop, and we're going to pop the word false, or the variable false. Because what we can actually do here is we can have something called, actually, you know what? We don't even have to do it this way, now that I think about it. We're just going to pop like normal. Because what I actually want to do here is once you've gone through this process, then, or sorry, right here, we check again. So we're awaiting this, and then we'll check again. And if it's still not success, we'll just return false. Or actually, probably in this case, let's do it this way. If it is success now, we'll say, okay, cool, you're good to go. Otherwise, we'll return false. And I think right here, I also want to return at the very end of this, because it could also be, no, actually, this will be fine. Okay, so basically it's going to go, okay, if it's not success, we're going to show this modal bottom sheet. We're going to wait for it to be finished. And then we're going to check again. And if it is success, we return true. Otherwise, we return false. In the case that, we already were logged in, essentially, like this is true, we just return true right away. So that'll let us kind of just have this flow. So continuous guess should just pop the thing and everything is good. And then we can, similarly, we need that if context.mounted, we'll actually push to, we'll do the action we want to do. Okay, so now, containers, I guess this doesn't have to be a container anymore. This can be a sized box, just to get rid of that warning. Okay, so I'm not going to worry with sign up yet, because we're going to be doing that in a bit, but let's actually see if we can get this login thing working. So I'm kind of thinking here, because I don't want to like bring them to a whole other screen when it's just them typing in stuff. I think we can kind of essentially await something else here. We'll make this async. And we're going to actually, let's see if this will work. Let's just return the login form, which this should actually be, I'm just going to rename this symbol, because we want to call this login form component, as we've been doing everywhere else. And we should also rename this file. So we'll reveal in Explorer view, oh, it's right there already, login form component. Save everything, and login form component we want to return. Now this itself is our login form. We'll probably need to put something around this because it's going to look weird, but let's just see what it actually looks like out of fun. So I click this, we go log in. We're going to see it's kind of like, oh, what the heck. All right, so we need to actually wrap this in a, it's funny. There might be a better way to do this, because we're going to kind of have this like double, see, it's like double dark now because there's these things. So we can't really pop this one, because if that one gets popped, all of a sudden this thing will continue to check, and basically you won't be able to continue through with the action, which is really what I want. I'll give this some thought. I'm thinking like our auth guard modal itself will actually, change based on something, based on like the step that we're in. So I think for this, we could do this with like a stateful widget, which would be fine. I just don't love using stateful widgets. So let's actually make a provider, and we're going to call this auth modal. We could just call auth modal provider. All right, let's do that. I'm just looking at this, because how'd this one work? This one worked with just sending back a thing. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so part of auth modal provider .g.dart. And we'll use our @Serverpod. I don't think we need to worry about making this one. Oh, what the heck. Auth modal. Now that is a bit of a problem because we already have something called auth modal. Where's our auth modal gone? Auth modal, I think we have auth guard modal. Okay. Auth modal. It's going to extend auth modal. And we'll have an override here where we're going to return, we're just going to have like a simple enum here called, we'll call it auth modal step. I guess step is fine. And we're going to have something like landing, login, and register. to start with. I want to import Riverpod. So this is going to return something like this in our build function. And what we're going to return by default is going to be our dot landing one. Then we will need some kind of thing to set. Let's actually just have a reset. And our reset is just going to make state equal to this. And we're going to have one called just set, where we'll pass in a step. And we'll just make state equal to step. Okay. We have some errors, and that's because we have to run the generator. But I think that's kind of what I want here. So let's just run that generator using my little plugin here. We will just one-off run it, I think. Okay, cool. So that worked. Then what we can do here is we still want all that. We still want this. Let's actually right here wrap this in, a builder or a consumer. What kind of this is a consumer widget. We could actually convert this back to just a stateless widget and get rid of this, because we can just wrap actually this in our consumer. Oops. So I want to go wrap in builder, but change it to consumer. And then we put ref here, and child's the third parameter, but we don't need that, so we'll just use an underscore. So now we can do something where we have a switch on our ref.watch. And in this case, we want to watch our auth modal provider. And what we can do here usually is click this and add the BIS cases. It only did one. That's annoying. Sometimes it does all of them, sometimes it doesn't. I don't really understand. There we go. So, and this is where we would then, take this right here. And is this everything? I think so. So if it's landing, we're going to do what we already built, right? We're going to return that sort of thing. If it's login, we're going to return, I'm actually going to get rid of the code here, but we're going to, I'll keep it for a minute. We're going to essentially return our login component. And then here, we're just going to return maybe text that says to do, something like that. Okay, so now instead of showing the modal, what we can do now is we can go ref.read and use our auth modal provider's notifier to actually set it to auth modal step.login. Okay, let's save everything and see if this nonsense works. Okay, so now I can click this. It should go like this. I click login, and you'll see it actually has the stuff here. That's pretty cool. Let's go to our, so that's just the login form, which makes sense. So we might want to actually, wrap this in a little bit of something else. Like maybe we have it in a column and we give it main axis size dot min. Because we want some kind of text on here that says login. And let's use the same style here as we did here. And actually we can kind of, I'm just going to try and make this work. Paste this in like that. No, I missed it. Okay, so we'll have like the same kind of vibe. So it feels like that. And then we can also really have like a, a back button sort of thing, or like, yeah, I think a back button is more intuitive. Like we could of course have like a or sign up or continuous guest in a bunch of places, but obviously you can just click this to cancel. Like, but if people don't know that, let's have some kind of login button there. And that's actually perfect because look, it automatically resets because we're not keeping alive on Riverpod. I was thinking we need to reset it after, and we might need to in some cases. Okay, so let's put that then. And in fact, login, yeah. So we could, this is always a bit annoying to do, to center this, but also have it in a row. Like, okay, we're gonna do this. So we're gonna have an icon button, and this we'll make that work in a second. Let's just do icons that navigate before, sure. So we can do that. And actually this might be fine. Let's just see. Account required. Yeah, this is fine. We don't need a back button because people can just cancel here, or they can click continue as guest. So we don't have to worry about that. Then we go here and we got login. I was thinking like we want to center that, but this actually is okay. And what do we want to do with that? Well, if someone clicks the back button, we would do basically the same thing we did here, but just change it to the thing, or we can actually, in theory, just run the reset that we made. Let's just see if that works. Click this, login. Cool. Okay, awesome. Let's go to our login form component because something is bothering me. We want to make the first one autofocus true, because then when we come to this, it's already focused and you're ready to type. Look at that. Okay, so that's great. And okay, what does our login form actually do? It does the login with email. I don't think this does any like UI stuff. It shouldn't, at least. So wait, this must have done something because we got that redirect to that weird page. Maybe there is. Okay, we got this, login, auth state success. Is it because our router automatically did that login? No, we don't have a watcher on that. How did auth state success? Oh, you know why? It's because our login form component, I think it's in here. Yeah, when there is auth state success, we show the welcome back. So what I want to do here is we don't want to actually go to the success screen in the case of the modal. We just kind of want to, override that. So what we can actually do is on our login form component is have a final function, or we can actually call this a void. It could be a void callback. Yeah, we'll just do that. And we'll say on our handle success, we're actually going to make this nullable. And then we'll do this dot handle success. Maybe it should be on success. I like that a little bit more. Then we can check right here essentially if on success does not equal null. And sorry, we need to do widget dot on success does not equal null. We will actually call it like that. We have to basically put this here. We can also do dot call, which is another way to do this, but this is fine. And then we want to return out because we don't actually want to do this action. So now in our authguard modal, we have our login form component, and we can say on success, we're actually just going to go navigator.ofcontext.pop. And that should be enough. So let's just do a full refresh, just make everything nice and good. And we'll click this. Actually, let's put one more thing back in on our actual venue screen. Oh, we do have it. I didn't know we did. Okay, so we're going to click here. Nothing happens if I go like this. Nothing happens if I go like this. Sign up just doesn't do anything yet, but log in. So let's actually try logging in. Tyler3@tylersavory.com, and we'll log in. And let's click login. And that's actually, I thought it didn't work for a second, but look, it brought us to where we were supposed to go because it did that check again, right? In the auth guard, after this whole process finished, it goes and checks, reads the auth provider again. And if it's true, it'll just continue on. And by continue on, we're returning true, meaning it will go through and do this. There we go. And now in theory, if I click this again, I'll just be brought right to it because I'm logged in. Yay. Okay, so let's just try logging out. Brought back here, explore. We'll go here. We will try to log in. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. Tyler3 log in, and we'll just see it happen again just for fun. There we go. And then we could start, finding a place. Let's find. Let's look for a subway. Sure. And we could go and add it, and everything should be good. Let's just test that though. Test 1, 2, 3. I don't think those are required fields. And there we go. Subway's here. We're good. No upcoming events. Amazing. Okay, that's great. I think that's a good place to take a break on this video in the series, and we'll continue on with our register process next. Thanks for watching.